Welcome to Alex and Annie, the Real Women of Vacation Rentals. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie.
And we are joined today by Shahar Goldboim, who is the CEO and founder of Boom. Shahar, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Great being over here.
So excited to have you. I met you a few times over some calls. Your personality is very warm and infectious, so I can't wait to meet you in person. But before we get started, I would love to learn more about Boom. I love saying that. Tell us about your story and your journey in vacation rentals and how you got to Boom.
Actually, it's interesting. So in 2016, I was doing a startup for real estate to find return in the industry, in the real estate market. And I was also a broker and investor in the real estate segment. And a friend came to me. We bought for him, like for his parents, actually, a house in a fancy neighborhood in Eastern Shore in Miami. And he was telling me in the end, my parents are not moving and I want to do it in Airbnb. And I told him, okay, and what's the connection to me? And he told me, everything that you do, you're really good at, and I would love you to do it. So I told him, you know what, let me think about it. And at the time I was learning about the lean theory. How can I get to maximum result with minimum efforts? So I told him, you know what, I found a company in Australia that can implement interior design on top of empty picture. So let's do that, meaning we'll take the address of the house itself, just with fake furniture. We list it on Airbnb and let's see what happens. So we list it on Airbnb and all of a sudden we started receiving reservation after reservation. So I asked my wife, she was like a regional manager of a furniture store and she's really talented. So I asked her, do you want to design a home? And she's like, hell yeah. we did the first house. So we got a lot of success with it. And then I had a flip that I've done, and we changed it to an Airbnb, and I bought a multi-family building to a friend of mine, and long story short, all of a sudden we have a management company as well. When we ran into the management company, I saw a lot of inefficiencies in the market in matter of like a lot of stuff. And with the startups that we've done, we built an amazing product, but I didn't find the business concept of it. So I moved the team to basically now to design VR to the management company. And I said, you know what, startup I don't know how to do, but I know how to do businesses. I've done many businesses in my life. So we are going to build a tech-enabled company. And that's what we've done. We grew Design VR to be a company that manages around $150 million of properties. And around a year and a half ago, I decided, you know what, we have the best technology in the world. And kind of like I would like to separate the companies because in the end of the day, I wanted to give the freedom to the technology company to really grow because the operation can grow as much as the technology. So we did the separation and we moved Boom to be basically a SaaS model. When we've done that, I forgot to mention that I built Design VR with my young brother, Alon, that he bring all of the tech element basically into the company, and I brought the business element. And when we decided to do that, we asked also my older brother to join as well. So we are three brothers all into this venture. And my older brother used to be really high level in technology. He had 500 employees underneath him, and he bring all of the AI component into the mix of the most robust system there is. And we build Boom, which is the world's first AiPMS that currently we have.
It's a great story. And I think, we talk about this often on the show that a lot of the tech in our space that works really well was built by property managers and, people that really understand the needs of what needs to be built. And they've worked with, technologists to bring that concept to life. But I think that is, certainly one of the magic points behind Boom is the understanding of the industry and where you saw those different needs. So that makes a lot of sense. And actually, you just announced last week that Boom is the world's first AiPMS, which is super incredible to be starting a whole new category of PMSs. I mean, the first and only at this point. So tell us a little bit about the AI functionality behind what Boom offers.
So let's just look at all of the concepts. So we have a PMS that you can work on it by yourself, and we have a lot of technology combining inside, meaning task management, owner portal, guest portal, project management, and so on and so on. And how now you take everything and you can infuse AI into it, meaning now let's think about a simple question that you will ask me. Can I do an early check-in? So if I have like an AI chatbot, it cannot really give me an answer because I need to understand, do I have a work order that need to be fixed? And then I need to go to my task management. And then I need to go and see if I have a late checkout on my reservation center, right? And then I need to go see if cleaning was done in order to give you the access to get in, meaning that I need to go through different system in order to give you an answer. And that's what kind of Boom is doing. So we are not just doing customer support. Our point is to go to all of the office work that you have, meaning customer support, sales, dispatching, bookkeeping, review management, and take all of the segment and allowing you as a company to do so much more with the same amount of people that you have. You can have much more scalability.
So in the scenario that you were just talking about, customer wants an early check-in, it'll go through everything to make sure that there's no maintenance orders, there's no late checkout, that all of that is in place, and then it'll automatically respond to them and say, absolutely, and then can you do it as an upsell? We'll give it to you for $25 or something like that?
100%. Not only that, you won't wait for him to tell you. You will offer, right? So if I know that all of these capabilities are there, then I will get a notification. Do you want to do an early check-in?
That's so cool.
So it's all of the element. Also in the guest portal, we can ask like, what is your flight number? And then it will connect it to your flight. So there is so much elements that you can do in order to optimize stuff.
And so you're doing it as a PMS now, because I believe when I first met you, it was more of like the back of the house, kind of operational aspects, and you've moved it into a property management system. Is that correct? Did I understand that right?
It's like, you are growing, right? So when we first came with Boom, we said, oh, you know what, we have so many stuff, but how can we present all of this stuff? So we started just with the owner portal when we started, not because we didn't have, it's how do I create the right message? How do I let people know? Because it's a different animal what we have in Boom. It's a different product. So how we set it, how we touch into it, and in the beginning, to be honest, we wanted to be an overlay on top of PMS, but we found it really hard with the push, meaning of being on a few verticals on that element, and on the element where we didn't control stuff. So not everybody working the way we would like it to be, meaning which data sources we get in order to give like the best experience that we can to property management company in order to solve the problem that we want to solve, if it makes sense.
Yeah. And I think when it comes down to the question of should you have an all-in-one system, or, should managers be trying to find the best product that does, one part of the system and then others that have advantages to them. And what I like about Boom from what I've seen now in many different demos is that, that's the whole crux. And this actually is the answer for everything to be all-in-one system, because the way that it works the best is when it is, because the AI will have access to so much more information that you're going to get the full benefit when everything is combined into one place. And one thing that I think is just genius that you guys have built is on the task management. So from a guest perspective, if I'm staying in a home in Miami or a condo in Miami and I arrive and I have an issue and I text in that the pool water is green, and now that goes back to Boom and it does an AI response that you can have on Copilot, which is also really cool. So managers can test to make sure that they like how things are answered. But from that and how you set it up, it can automatically set a work order to have somebody go out there and look at the pool. So you're not having to wait on calling into an office or emailing into an office and then somebody being able to respond and do the work order, find somebody. It's all automated. From what I can tell, it allows property managers to stay focused more on the important things that they need to be focused on versus the crazy amount of manual office type tasks that are necessary in the business. But to this point, there's not been a way to add any automation to them.
100%. And it's also how everything is connected. So let's say the work order went out and your contractor, the pool guy, arrived to the place, he cleaned the pool. As soon as he pressing done, a notification will come to the guest saying, hey, we cleaned your pool. Are you happy? If he's not happy, the guy is still over there. So it's like the connection of the system, the AI, but how everything is talking with everything, which is a big thing. Another thing for companies, it's like the layer. So we have level 1, we have level 2, we have level 3 of complexity. And you as a company can say, in this complexity, meaning I want you to stop and transfer it to a manager. And you can direct the AI how you want to solve the stuff. So think about a company that moving layer 1, moving layer 2. So just in difficult cases, I have like now a manager that needs to go in and actually give the service, and you can actually do that.
Are you able to use it in the reservation realm? So helping people book their reservation, confirm their reservation, doing upsells on reservations, and then post-stay, reaching out to them to try to get them to rebook as well?
Yeah, 100%. So we have the data. So if they came in May, so for whatever, for visit their parents for like a birthday or something, so in March or in February, they will get a message, hey, are you coming again? So all of this automation, all of the understanding of the guest, that will be more in the sales marketing kind of tools of AI. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how you have that flexibility to set up those automations based on what makes sense for the business. And, from the review standpoint, I know that's a big component. And just from my experience, I remember at Condo World, we had like 3 or 4 people that worked on review responses. And that's pretty common with companies with a lot of inventory. And that process typically is, a review comes in and it might go to maybe the social media manager. They figure out what property they stayed at. If it was an issue, you have to bring that issue to somebody in property management. And then they have to check, well, who was the cleaner and what was going on? When you've got a lot of reservations coming in, like it just becomes a complete staffing nightmare to keep up with that. And it hurts your review scores. Because it's just not efficient. But the way that Boom works, when the reviews come in, it's automatically tagging certain things and it knows who the cleaner is, right? And then it's actually scoring those cleaners in a dashboard where the manager can come in and see where there are issues, either with the home or with the cleaners. Is that correct?
Yeah. So in other words, I'll translate it this way. So we use analytics to understand operations. So we can tell you who is the best company that's serving your properties. We can tell you what the review score that the cleaner is getting for the cleanings that he have done. So we have average of every cleaner. We understand the duration of every cleaner, meaning cleaner that cleaning faster than others. So first of all, it's creating alignment between the management to the worker. So you can do compensation for people that work really good, or you can get rid of people that are not good. You can also transfer business knowledge, right? So let's say somebody is really quick. You need to ask yourself, why so quick and is getting such an amazing review? How can I transfer his knowledge base to other people that are working and put himself as example? In a matter of review, what we are doing, we're analyzing all of the reviews by AI, and then we can create visualization to what the issues are. So from the review, how much percentage I had issue with the property maintenance, how many I had with a cleaning, with communication within that. So let's say I want to understand the issue that I had with property management. Then how many appliances issue did I had? How many internet issues did I had? And then I can tackle down to which properties I had the issues in and understand how I can fix it. So we use data in a lot of ways and everything is connected. So we can create this visualization and all of that.
So obviously the use of all these tools and having the AI cuts down on staffing levels. So that's a big cost savings for the customer that's using it. Do you have any studies that say, like for an average size manager, what kind of cost savings they're going to have in a payroll sense on maybe a monthly basis?
I have, because I can tell you how much we are saving in design payroll. We definitely have. It depends on the company. We're working with every company.
Yeah.
It's not like Hilton or Marriott that every.
Sure. I guess I was just saying, like, on average, would you say that somebody could save, 100 hours of labor a month, or, say an average size manager that's got 25 units or something? I'm just like ball.
I'll explain it this way. When you have a company, it depends if you give 24/7 service or not. So if we're looking at customer support, do I give customer support at night? Do I have a salesperson that all of his job is to do sales, or do I have people that are doing customer support and sales? So it's all of that element, but we definitely reducing big amount.
Yeah. I think for companies that I've spoken to that use Boom, the number one thing that they say is that it's allowed their core staff to just work more effectively and more strategically. But companies have a lot of VAs now. And I think that's just been something that's on the rise in recent years because of, so much goes back and forth between, Airbnb and VRBO messages and then reviews, as we just spoke about, that seems to be like that's where companies are able to cut down. And I mean, that VAs are still certainly an expense, and especially when you have a lot of them. So, and I think you were using a lot of VAs at Design VR. Did it make a difference for your company?
We left with a third of them. So,
wow.
And think about it in that level. So let's say I need to extend sales or customer support as for a property. So first of all, I need 3 shifts, right? Morning and then evening and then night. So it's like 3 people. If you adding the vacation time and off time, then you need more. You need 4 to 5 people. Then thinking about the hiring processing. So when I'm going to hire, I need a manager to do it. I need to do the hiring process. The HR. Then I need a management layer on top of these people. It's a lot of add-ons, right? And then also when they are coming in, I need to, if they're coming from the vacation rental industry, which a lot of times that's not the issue, then I need to basically let them know about all of the policies, the mentality of the company, the vibe of the company. Up until they're up and running, you're talking about a month and a half to 2 months. If they are not from the industry, we're looking at 3 to 4 months till they really good customer support. So think about all of that element in your ability to grow as a company and the scalability of it. And it's not just the employee itself, it's the pressure that you have on the other layer of the company.
Right.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we're in a low margin business. So, you have to have people. This is a hospitality business. People will never be eliminated. But I think, it's exciting to see a product like this that just, allows companies to operate more profitably and their people just to focus on being able to provide that hospitality and to take care of their owners and focus on growing their portfolio. How does Boom help on that side? I mean, as far as owners and transparency and the owner portal, I know that's a big thing that is part of one of the selling features, but tell us a little bit more about that.
So the owner portal actually was the first thing that we created on Design VR because I found it really hard to do all of the reporting in the end of the month. It took me like a lot of time, a lot of pressure, and I believe in transparency because transparency really helps in alignment of thoughts and also in accountability. So on our owner portal on the P&L, you can see all of your income and you can see all of your expenses as an owner. And not only that you can see all of the expenses, it's not just a number. Oh, you know what the wall cost you to fix, like it's $1,000. You will have pictures, you will have videos that's connected basically to the task management. So you will understand all of the story. A lot of time what's happening, because we don't know, the owner doesn't know the story. They feel basically that the management company steal money from them. So somebody will see the chart and they say, I can't believe it's $1,000, they're stealing from me. And then the management company feels everybody else will do it for $2,000. We're doing it for $1,000, and it's not fair that it's treating us this way. And a lot of times because it doesn't know what actually happened. And when you look at the video and you look at the picture, you understand, wow, they did like a really good work. And that's create like really a trust in between, and as a result you can grow, right? So if I have an investor that really believe in us, he would love to buy another property. Another thing that I believe in is create a KPI. So when we have a property, you can see what's the return that you're making on this property, because I started as my mind going always like investment wise. So the way we build it is what's the return I'm making on this property, because it's a big thing for an investor. He wants to know how much money I'm making on the money. So if you want it, it's an option to use a property manager, obviously, to pick that you want to have this feature on your portal. But when your investor owner is coming in, you can see what the return is making, what is cash on cash return, what is cap rate, and so on the property.
It's interesting. I was prepping recently for a panel discussion with property managers about owner relations. And the discussion was, how to keep owners in tune with what's going on. And the biggest problem that people have is that owners do feel left in the dark, and you're either giving them too much information or you're not giving them enough. It's like trying to find that balance of when to speak to them and when not. So it sounds like you can set up some really great communication tools. And Alex, I think about like, how do we implement Enneagram into this? Because AI would make it a game and make it fun. But I think one of the things that came up, and I think you just touched on it, Shahar, as a tool is one of the property managers mentioned that they always do work orders attached to the owner's log so they can see when stuff's done. So that way the owner understands the amount of time and attention that's spent in the unit, even if it's just to go replace a coffee pot or to have carpet cleaned, something like this. So they're not just getting bills, they're actually seeing the amount of time that they're putting in the unit. And I think that that's where managers get lost in the sauce, so to speak. They're doing so many tasks that at some point it just becomes too laborious to put in a work order for everything and follow it through the process. But by this, it just seems like you can get all of these touch points to an owner, to a guest, to the staff, and make people more efficient with their time, but being transparent at the same time.
100%, and that's also create accountability. Also, the owner have an access to see all of the reviews coming into his property, can also see where his property is advertised at. And I believe as much as you have more clear on that, then it's creating like the interface to create this trust.
Yeah, and trust is important, not just with owners, but it's trust with guests. So I think that's one of the themes that has come out of management in the last couple of years, that we all have to be building trust with all touch points within the industry. I love what you're doing there.
There's a lot of focus right now on guest experience and the guest journey. And from my perspective, I've been talking about this for years when I first started going on podcasts about how we looked at that and how we mapped things out and how important that is, that it's part of the marketing. I mean, their experience from not necessarily in the property, but how you're communicating with them and when you're communicating with them is so important. And I think what the cool thing about this is as the AI builds this really comprehensive customer data profile, you're able to do some more things on an automated level. But it's like, I think the balance there is making it feel like it's a real authentic communication. But maybe tell us a little bit more about that, of like how you guys developed the AI so that it has a personality. It doesn't sound canned, like it actually makes somebody feel like they're chatting with someone on the other end.
It's understanding the data, right? So if I know all of the communications that you had in the last 5 years and everything I take into a data source, I understand your policy better than you do, because it's really also hard to understand. Let's say now I have 30 agents in the Philippines answering. Somebody going to all of their inbox in order to understand if they understand the policy or not. It's really hard, right? To go into each conversation and to go. So you randomly do it. When we take the data and we understand all of the data, and then we can understand the policy and we understand the DNA of the company and we understand all of that, then I can also answer in the same way that the company does. So it doesn't lose the identity, the opposite. It's optimized. We understand all of the DNA, we understand the company, and you can modify it. You can say, oh, that's not my policy, actually. Although in reality, it is because this is how your agents are acting.
So tell me about the interfaces that you have at this point. Are you directly connected with any channels? Do you work with any channel managers? Like, where are you at? Obviously, I'm asking from a NextPack standpoint. We want to have a conversation, but what are you guys doing for distribution for the property managers?
So distribution, we actually touching like a white label channel manager where everything is done on Boom. So in reality, you can connect to any OTA that you want. And we also having our booking site, so you can also create yourself a booking site on Boom. We touch all of that element to give the answer.
And if a company was using a website that they did not want to get rid of, can Boom still work with them?
Yes, so we're working on all of that solution for the company. So in a week we should be on, and it shouldn't be a problem.
Very cool. I think you guys are certainly onto something. And, there's so many PMSs that are in the industry right now. I just heard of 2 more this morning that I've never even heard of before. But I feel like, a lot of them, the value proposition is kind of the same. I mean, if they've been around for a long time, that's kind of the value proposition, is they've been around for a long time. But in today's day and age, it's like, that's not really what's going to get you ahead into that next level in business. So, I mean, it seems like from the managers I've spoken to that use Boom, they are all, very forward-thinking company leaders that they want something that's going to last for a long time, but that also is going to keep them, ahead of the curve and to be more profitable and to, make it a better environment for their people to work at because they've got this tool that's, really enabling them.
Yeah, I think it's really important when you pick the partner that you want to be in is understand where they are today and where their vision is, because I would like to stay with a company for a long time. So what is your vision and what you focus in? That's a big part of picking. And I think in the industry, you have 2 kinds. You have basically companies that is tech people that's saying, hey, these guys will need that. And without understanding the whole ecosystem and how stuff are in reality, because it's really different when you look from up to down, but from down to up, it's a different view, right? So how you mitigate this. So this is one kind. Another kind is people that had 5 to 10 properties, and then they're saying, hey, you know what? This will be a great solution. And they do have a great solution, but not for company in a scale. And this is why we have so many solutions in the industry. And company needs to work on 7, 8 different platforms that create a lot of frustration from the team because they need to move from one thing to another thing, different app. You have a loss of data. And also with the API integration, you have an API integration, but it's not really a system. So they are connecting. They take few data, but it's not creating like the holistic system that we wanted to create.
Yeah. Now, I saw on your website that you've got Ian Carter, who is the former CEO of Hilton Worldwide, on your board of directors as the chairman. That's a pretty impressive person to have as part of this.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm still like I was honored by Ian joining us, and he really loved what we are doing, and I couldn't get a better guy to support us and being the chairman on the board. So I'm really, really honored that he believed in the idea, and I love talking with him, and he opened my mind and talking with him a lot.
That's great to have somebody from that level of hospitality who's kind of seen the business, now not necessarily the vacation rental side of the business, but hospitality in general, like he gets it. So that's certainly a big boom for you.
But not only that with Ian, it's ridiculous. He was head of GE, he was head of Hilton, he's a chairman of Switzerland Watch Company, which is a NASDAQ company, Italy, Service Pro, Formula One. He was director in Burberry, and he basically touched the manufacture, service, and fashion industry, and everything from top level. So to talk with somebody like that is really open the mind in so many levels. that I love the interaction with him, and he's a cool guy. That's also
Well, that's a nice bonus too. What's next for Boom? I mean, you've been around for a little bit, so you've been testing the waters and talking to customers and working through it. And obviously this big announcement being the first AiPMS. Where do you go from here?
Where don't they go? Yeah, exactly. All the way up.
we call Boom real estate. But in reality, for me, is how can I create value to the people that we're working with? We're looking at long term. I want to be focused on the vacation rental market and create the best system for property managers to use in order to create a win-win situation. That guests will get a better experience, and as a result, the ADR and occupancy will be higher. For property manager companies to be more profitable and to create more scalability, because for property manager companies, the margins are low on what they are making. And how can we take a payroll that is $100,000, making it $40,000, so they will have more money to invest in the guest experience, if it makes sense, creating more scalability for them. And on the other hand, like on the investor side, owner side, create a better return for their investment and win-win-win for everybody, to all of the ecosystem.
I was talking to a manager in Florida earlier this week in 30A, which is, super high-end luxury market. But on Saturday turn days, when an arrival comes in, they meet them at the house and they either have key lime pie or they do like a fruit salad and lemonade. They're always dropping off something that's just like a really nice welcome gift. And I think in my mind, where I see Boom being able to help is, those people that if they had to be at the office answering these emails and these inquiries in the phone and all these different things that they've got going on, they don't have time to be able to go out and provide that level of, unreasonable hospitality, as we all talk about. But that's possible. Take your good people. You don't got to let them go, but let them work on things that are going to really define the company and, solidify you as a leader in the market, and let the other stuff become automated to a certain extent.
1,000%. That's what you want to do, is to create an amazing experience. And it's really hard when you have so many tasks and you need to be master of so many stuff. Like you need to do construction and design and maintenance and cleaning and to do marketing and to do sale and to do owner acquisition and to touch the guest in a certain thing and to be with the owner. And how do you master all of that? It's really hard. In the end of the day, what we want to create is relations, and we want to create the human touch, and we want to be able to create this amazing experience to the tourists that are coming. And while we take the workload down, then we can really focus on the important stuff.
Yeah, I talk about all the time, people in this industry that are really passionate and love it, they have a hospitality gene. And you either have it or you don't. But I think the thing that gets lost in it is people that have the gene get burnt out on all of these tasks and all of these things, the minutia of running the business. And so now this allows them to do like exactly what they want to do, to be hospitable, to be out there, to be with the guests, to be interacting with the owners, those type of things that really make the whole experience of being in this industry what it's all about, being fun and creating memories, lasting memories, and being part of things. So this is tremendous. I think what you're doing is just got so much runway to grow. I know of a lot of people that are looking for PMSs right now. They're entertaining, trying to find lighter tech stacks, things that don't have so many things, and also maybe some things that don't have so many rules and restrictions about how they operate it. And I think with an AI component, it allows them to customize it the way their business needs to operate, not the way the PMS company says they should operate. So this is great. And I can't wait to see all of it in action and kind of see where you guys go by the time we're next year celebrating your 1-year anniversary of this announcement.
I would love to. I think that we'll keep everybody in shock with the stuff that we are planning.
Very cool.
Now, this is a question as our last one that Annie typically asks, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it today. But what's one thing that's not being talked about enough in the industry in your mind?
I think that everybody talk about regulations, but not in a way to how we can solve stuff. Like we see what happening in New York, we see what happening in Barcelona, and how do we, as an industry, create the amazing story that we have? How do we pull out all of the tourists and how we push everything into social media. Because when we think about our industry and about the impacts that we have, so let's say I have an hotel in Barcelona, and I went with my family to Barcelona, and it's really hard to find like an hotel that have a place for 4 or like 5 people, and this accommodation allowing it. Additional to it, the spread of the money. Let's say, like if you have hotel, you have a zone for hotel, meaning that all of the city doesn't enjoy for tourism just a specific part. When we're looking at vacation rentals, the spread of the money is around all of the city. And we are doing so many good stuff. And we have like, let's say we have around 8 million listings around the world, probably 5.5 million is like for non-professional, 2.2 is around professional. What I'm trying to say is that we have around 4 million hosts, that we have around 50 million that's supporting the industry. And then we have all of the workers that are working, if it's cleaning, repair people, that the blue collar people that enjoying from that industry. So we have around probably 150 million to 200 million that specifically working in that industry. Now everybody have like 10 to 20 friends. So we're talking about people that can touch around 2 billion people. And how we take the beautiful thing that we're doing from an industry and putting it out to social media where everybody can touch, because regulation is great, meaning regulation is needed because vacation rental creating more noise and creating more trash, and it's stuff that needs to be touched. For example, Ken Monkey did an amazing business touching on the trash issue. But in reality, for example, in Design VR, we did during Corona time, I had to do it. We need to have a guard 24/7. So I created a security team that actually we maintain after it, because we don't want to create noise awareness, noise and all of that stuff when we have issues. So we have like the security going into places. What I'm trying to say, when you have a weakness, you can create solution. So if I had a company, for example, in Miami, that I can pay them $100 per property and they will do a security as a result. We have a problem, we're solving it, and we don't put it on the police in order to go in. So in few levels, we need to be able to tell the story out of the amazing story we're creating. And we need to create through a conversation stuff that will solve problems that we are creating. And a lot of time what's happening is that we are not talking as a whole ecosystem, meaning the OTA are the OTA, the tech people are the tech people, and the property management are the property management. But in the end of the day, it's one ecosystem that everybody enjoying from it. And how we can create a board that is from an OTA, technology company, property maintenance company, cleaning company, and understand all of the suffering and how we can answer stuff.
I love that. Yeah. And thinking of it from that perspective of like, creating a board around this. I mean, not VRMA, but I mean like a true organization that is just focused on this, but that has those people seated at the table to bring what they're hearing and, what their ideas are, and just have that kind of like think tank kind of mentality around it. Because really at the end of the day, I mean, you think about it, you go stay in a hotel, and I mean, you do have to show your ID when you check in, but they're not doing background checks on you or anything. I mean, like vacation rentals are going significantly further in that direction to do background checks in a lot of cases. The noise aware type devices, I mean, all the different things that can monkey, the different services that already have come out in our industry. I think we're all trying to solve the problem, and there are solutions, but it's like, it still bubbles back to an awareness issue of like, do legislators, do they really know that we are using these types of tools and that things aren't that bad? Or like, where are they getting their main information from to make these decisions that they need to be banned or, strictly regulated? And unfortunately, at the end of the day too, I think a lot of that is, a lot of pressure from the hotel regulations that they, of course, would rather see this happen. But it's tough. And I think, some sort of a conglomerate there to help with this would probably be a great thing. I mean, there's Rent Responsibly, of course, they do an amazing job, and a couple others, but maybe there needs to be like a fresh take on it.
A lot of time when you have like policymakers, it's not about real data, it's how they using the data. So, for example, Barcelona have 10,000 licenses for vacation rental. And they're doing a push on that, but they have 60,000 apartments sitting empty. And they push on the vacation rental for no reason whatsoever. It just like in order to get more votes and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily that. And we need to touch on the people. When you look at Barcelona, number one economy growth, like number one business is tourism. So let's say if you don't have tourism and the apartment costs less, but you're doing less money, how does it help? So I really don't understand it. So it's how you're using all of that.
Well, I think also too, and this is probably where your system could help out, is that communication to the owner, because the vast majority of owners don't have a vote in the community where their rental is. They don't live there. And so a lot of times it's the people that live there that get annoyed by one rental, and all of a sudden it becomes the most pervasive problem in the community. So the municipality leaders are listening to that person who's been screaming at them every single day. Whereas if you know this is going on and you can communicate this out to your owners quickly, succinctly, and clearly, then they can also voice their, be active. And I think that's where everybody's been challenged, is how do we get everybody active in it and have the right information to react to, instead of things being visceral and emotional and overreacting.
100%. And also, how do you create the beautiful story and not just the horrible story? And we have much more beautiful stories than horrible story. And how do you use social media in order to push it out? And that's why I mentioned that we have 2 billion people that we can touch from the industry if we create this material. Because in the end of the day, in New York, they cancel vacation rental. Everybody's suffering from it. Airbnb doesn't make money. The PMS and the pricing algorithm, whoever, doesn't make money. The property manager are not doing it. So it's hurting all of the ecosystem. And now as an ecosystem, we can create this beautiful story out that will show what a beautiful thing vacation rental is.
I love that. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that we have a beautiful story to tell, but we do.
Yeah.
So I like you putting it that way. And I think it goes back to something that Alex and I talk with a lot of people about, is that that abundance mindset. If you realize that we can all coexist, instead of saying it's got to be mine or it's got to be yours and fighting for it, things will be much more harmonious, and we do have a beautiful story.
We are all together in it. And that's why I don't like organizations saying, hey, just property manager or just this. We are all one ecosystem and everybody's supporting everybody. So, and everybody coexists, right? Everybody coexists together.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, even if it's the hotels that are behind trying to ban short-term rentals in areas, it's like, we're already seeing this in New York, that we just had the ladies from Roar on. If you've gotten used to staying in short-term rentals over the last few years since the COVID boom of them, you're not just going to say, okay, well, I'm just going to stay in a hotel then. I mean, in some cases, maybe you do, but you're going to look at another destination, and the destination is the one that hurts from that the most. So it's like, you can't just pretend like short-term rentals aren't there and just force them out. It's not the answer. And I think most destinations understand that, but there's just so much pressure that's coming down on them that they're having to make decisions that don't really make sense in a lot of cases.
True. It's not elimination. You can create regulation, and regulation is a good thing, meaning like we want to be more professional industry. We want to do that.
Absolutely. Well, Shahar, thank you so very much for all of this information. I can't wait to see it in person. Again, I've done the little demo, but I'm going to get to see it all really soon. So I'm really excited about that. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Honestly, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best platform. They can write me a message. I'm really responsive over there. Although I'm getting a million messages, but I always answer every day.
And the website is boomnow.com. So people can go there and schedule a demo if they want to see more. And of course, see you this fall at pretty much all the shows.
I really enjoy actually meeting everybody. I really enjoy talking with everybody. Yeah, I love this show.
It's going to be good. Well, if anybody wants to get in touch with Annie and I, you can go to alexandanniepodcast.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in, everybody.